Hey guys, we're here today talking to Jim and Tess. They are the homeowners that hired Webster Reclaimed Wood Products to come in and accent their home. As you can see behind me, these beautiful wood beams are right here. We're just sitting down with them. Jim, how do you think it turned out?
Oh, it turned out excellent. It's probably everything we wanted and even more. We wanted a warm, cozy feeling, house that we could just be comfortable in when you walked in. We wanted a deck that we could enjoy and party on and barbecue and grill and still have kind of just an older atmosphere. And so we did it with reclaimed wood out of old barns that Eric has torn down and saved, and so we didn't even use any new lumber.
And Tess, was this your design?
No, Jim really had the vision, and Eric and him collaborated on how to put it together and where to space the beams. What I love the most is that Eric gave us the history of all the wood. So we know that we've got wood beams from a barn in the 1800s that I can talk about when I describe my house, and the beams out on the porch, every single beam is a different wood, and they come from the 1920s. So to me, that's real exciting that we're able to bring history into the home, particularly since we tore down a home that had been the family for over 40 years and built on this place. So that means a lot to us to be able to reuse materials that make it feel like it's already been there for 100 years.
Jim, when you guys were going through and designing the structure, how did that go for you? Explain the process for us from where you started.
Well, it started years ago, just as a dream. Tess and I talked about it over the years of how we could build a house up here and everything, and then eventually the vision came together of where to place the house and what we wanted in the house, which our main feature has become this deck with the barnwood and with the beams and the rafters and the focal point off of our kitchen and our den area, which is the view of the house into the creek area. That it kind of became our focal point, and it's all worked out above expectations. When it first started, we just poured the concrete, and then we had the vision of the beams and the deck off of it. And the key point is the view into the creek and the bottomland is kind of the view of our house, and we wanted to keep that, and the deck, and this old barnwood has made that definitely the focal point.
Excellent. And you guys are right here on the Guadalupe River. I took a walk back today, and that was absolutely gorgeous back there. Holy cow. And then and you brought it right into this nice little piece. Now, you told me you guys started off building a guest house, and that's where you're currently living, is that correct?
Correct. We moved to the old house, which we demolished, and we remodeled the house next door, a little 1920 rock cabin, to live in while we build this house.
And when do you expect to be able to move in?
Late September, early October.
Is this the first type of project you've ever done with barnwood?
Yes, it is. I watched it for years, looked at it, loved it. We watched barn builders. We've admired it for forever. And then I went and looked at Eric's project in Fredericksburg, the Yeehaw Ranch, and just fell in love with it at that point. And that's what I wanted. And so that helped develop my vision pretty fast.
And so how did you find Eric?
I found him on Facebook, and I wanted to go see it visually, what he was selling. And so I drove up to Fredericksburg, met with him, and we went over his beams and the sizes and the lengths and all of that aspect. And then we got into the size of the deck and how much we would need. And the project kept growing because we liked this deck so much. We added a back porch off of it, and then we added a front porch with the barnwood and the beams as well. So we just kept running throughout the house, and then we did headers and skins and things, and now we're planning on even doing the island in it kitchen island as well as the range top.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that, one thing did lead to another. So we hadn't planned on doing the walls in this porch in the siding from the barn wood. But once we got the beams up, and again, Eric is very collaborative. He really gets to know us and would throw ideas out at it. He's a very creative person. So he mentioned that he had the siding, and would that be appealing to us? And so we were able to look at the product, and we said absolutely. And so we added the siding to the porch, which really completed the look of the whole porch. I don't think it would have been the same with just a regular siding back here. So that's one of the things that's nice about working with Eric, is that he gets to know your taste and your style, and then introduces things to you that you might not have thought of that could be a potential enhancement to something you're already going to do anyway.
Excellent. It turned out gorgeously. I mean, I can't say enough. I just want to keep going through and taking pictures of stuff. Now, and you have a few other projects that you're working on. I did see that you have, like you said, headers and the beams and things like that. And talk about like above your doorways, could you?
Yeah, that was one of the first things that we really wanted. The headers and the beam in the den. The beam in the den actually was an add-on. We had planned on doing the headers and the skins on the doorways. That was kind of the first thing we wanted to do in the first vision we had, because we'd been in custom homes that had that, and we really liked that feel that it gave a home, just off of just making the sheetrock pop or the walls pop, and it gave a break in the between the den and the kitchen without putting any walls or doors there.
Excellent. Yes, it turned out absolutely beautiful. Your guys' design, the way it all looks and is coming together, I am absolutely super excited to come see the finished product. I cannot wait. It's just, I was like, look at this. I'm like, oh, I wish it was finished.
It'll be real pretty. We'll have rock on the front of the house. So we'll have a real pretty rock combined in the front porch, our entryway to the home, with what Eric did on, he made the ceiling and then beams as the entryway. So those two combined will be beautiful.
And was that part of the original design?
No, we originally were focusing on the back deck. And when we
Right.
saw how good the beams and posts looked back here, we added it to the front porch and added beams and posts to accentuate the entryway, and then the wall was already designed to have the rock on it. But he added the ceiling component as well, so that will make it just a beautiful front entryway for the home.
It did. It threw me, like when I walked out there, like I didn't walk out there from the front. I ended up walking out there, and it's the first thing you see when you walk out the porch. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is gorgeous.
And we had a vision of taking, the old house was red siding, and we always affectionately called it our red house. And we had a vision on the back porch. That's kind of an entryway of coming up from the river. So you come into the mudroom from there, and we thought, oh, wouldn't that be fun to make that look like an old-timey, wood or whatever? Could we reuse the red siding? And it really just wasn't very salvageable, but be able to do the siding on our back porch, Eric brought in a lot of the red wood from a barn, so he knew that red was something that I was particularly attracted to, and put much more of the red on that back porch, and it just makes it the perfect back deck that we've been looking for. That Eric is very, very good to work with. He has, great visions for how to reuse these materials that we may not have thought of. He's very considerate about how he uses a particular beam in a particular location. For instance, on this porch, he put a beam close to where the grill's going to be that used to have a ladder in it, so it's got the round hole still in the beam, because then he said that Jim could put dowels in there to hang his cooking utensils or towels when he cooks. So he really is very thoughtful about the placement and how he's using it, but also trying to make it fit into our lifestyle and how we want to use this home.
And I will say, Eric, we haven't really made any changes. We made a lot of add-ons due to creativity, and he's been very easy to work with. And he just goes with the flow, and he, like Tess says, he's very creative, and he'll add to it once he knows your style and the direction and your vision of what you want. And just behind you, it may not be real visual, but again, we didn't want to block the view, and Eric kept it at above 9 feet. All kinds of little items that you wouldn't think of that he adds to the project all the time.
Thank you guys so much for the contribution and time that you've taken to interview with me. If you guys want something more, you can visit Eric at Webster Reclaim Wood Products on Facebook or movethatbarn.com. We'll see you guys later. Have a great time.